That's always nice. Now we will go live here on the YouTubes. Play that. Pause it. Nice, very nice. Alright. You know what I forgot to do? Enable the chat window. Here in a second, let's do that. It's a weird combination of settings to make it work, but it does. And shot window. That should show up nicely in a moment. Hopefully. Looks good to me. One last check here. Yep, we got audio. I hear the fan. I hear the fan running. The fan might be too loud. I'm gonna turn off the fan for now, I guess. This isn't a fan video, this is a cleaning video. Alright. So, to start, I'm going to clean up these. Yeah, they do. Perfect. Oh dear, of course there's noises happening. I didn't mute the audio. What in the heck is that? It's silly putty. Keep that. Not silly putty, sticky tack. Putting stuff on the wall. I have commandeered this from the... There's a dead bug in there. Okay. I have commandeered these bins from that previous roommate who left and didn't take them with him. I'm actually going to go get some Lysol wipes because who knows what was in those drawers. Alrighty. So we've got our compliments brand, not placed admins, not ad placed, whatever, just cheaper than Lysol. These are ABCDA, are they called? Yes, where's the English? I can read French, but not well at all. Octyl dicyl dimethyl ammonium chloride. So dimethyl ammonium chloride. Quaternary sanitizer, I believe it's called. Kills everything. How did that get out of the garbage? It's not recommended to get these on your eyes, in your nose, or anything like that. Also try to limit skin exposure because it'll kill the good bacteria that live on your skin, allowing for opportunistic infections to arise and terrible things like that. Oh, loud doors. should take care of most of the nastiness there. Alright. Leave those there for now, I guess. I've got a large collection of already folded clothing here in the corner that I'm going to move this. I don't want it to fall. Fix my shorts. Got a large pile of already folded clothing here from a video that never actually ended up getting published. It might still get published eventually, but who knows. But it's semi-sorted and mostly folded, so most of this will go right into the thing there. And I just want the shorts, socks first, which apparently are the last things in the pile. One pair of socks found so far. It's because I had to move this bed around. Can't even really see me in the corner here. I will be out of the corner in a moment. Hey, there's a lighter. Whenever I want a lighter, I can't find one. Right now, I've got 3. I'll hide them in my closet for later use. Is it flushed? I'll line up all the socks in here. Sure, I'm going to put things that I don't use very often at the back of the drawers. What is that even going to mean? It's all too complicated. Maybe I won't do that. I'm going to start putting it in and see how it goes from there. Got most of the laundry washed up and taken care of. I only have one basket full left to do. But we're doing all the laundry during the off-peak hours, so we don't use as much electricity, which limits the amount that I end up getting done in one day by a fair bit. Yeah, put the pants in the bottom drawer, I think. They're the heaviest. And aren't going to get much use right now in the middle of summer when it's in the 30s outside. 30 degrees Celsius is something like, I believe it's in the 80s Fahrenheit. I would ask the Google, but I'm live streaming. That would be troublesome. Check this here. 1 second here. We got people coming in and out on the Periscope. Where is the... Now I'm going to melt. Yeah, it's very hot. How you going? How you doing, Chastity? Nice to see you again here. For some reason my YouTube comments don't come through on the stream, but that's okay. I want you to go and check though. Make sure that the stream is working correctly on Facebook here. Dum-da-di-dum-dum. Oh yes, I must rename it. Loading, 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 loading. Late night house cleaning, that's what it was. I'm already kind of melting. Just with the temperature in here. Let's pop this out. That sits there, and then we'll have this on this side, and this over here. Pause that because we don't need to eat up all the extra bandwidth. Zoom in a bit so I can see. Oh, that's too much zoomed in. Computer doesn't like this one. Yeah, it was actually pretty nice weather today. Something like, it was in the upper 20s instead of the 30s, which makes for a much more comfortable living experience, especially when the air conditioner needs its Freon refilled. We're soon going to be getting we got a technician visit scheduled or something like that to take a look at it. My dad actually used to work in the industry, so I am fairly familiar. Okay, I am not going to wear these for at least 6 months, so they can go in the top in the corner of the closet, out of reach, and out of sight, and so they don't block the other things from being accessed. What did you write there, Chastity? I'm good, just done my laundry now, chilling under the fan, yes. Well, I got my fan here too, but it needs cleaned. But and it also makes too much noise for the live stream. I'll make a fan video with this fan eventually. You might not realize it, but oh man. Fan video. A 30-minute video of a fan is my #1 top video when it comes to watch time. By a long shot. A really long shot. We're talking like 8 times real time amount of watch time. Like at any given time there's 5 to 8 people watching that video. Which is not the whole reason I'm monetized. It definitely helps. I've got other videos that if I didn't have the fan video, I would still be able to keep up the numbers to be monetized, but it's definitely a big boost on the revenue stream for sure. It was kind of hilarious actually. Instagram went down yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before. Instagram was down, and I got almost 2,000 hits on one of my videos about how to fix Instagram when it's crashing, which of course didn't help anybody that watched it because Instagram was down. It wasn't their fault, so there wasn't anything they could do on their phone or whatever to fix it. But I still got like 2,000 views and made almost $8 off that one video, which I made $8 off a video that didn't help anybody. What am I doing? What am I doing? I have this one video of washing dishes with almost 40,000 views now. So, how to wash dishes with only one sink. It's called 40,000 views. It's unbelievable. I'm not sure if I'll make any of those much anymore because the house that I moved to has a dishwasher. Dishwasher. I've never lived anywhere with a dishwasher before. Yeah, this weekend is going to be meltingly hot. Meltingly hot. Just making sure this is still showing up correctly. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, so I have quite a few videos that are tagged ASMR for different reasons. My favorite videos to film and make are actually rain and weather related. So like, I got a couple of videos that I shot maybe about a month ago up at the lake nearby, the conservation area. Went to the middle of the forest and filmed the lake, as I was talking. Oh yes, okay. I filmed the lake while it was raining. So I'm there standing like this with my phone underneath my hands to keep the rain from dripping onto it for about 30 minutes straight. It hasn't gotten very many views. It's not the best of video quality, but the sound is beautiful. I love the sound. The problem is I recorded it in HDR10 Plus before I realized that there's no editors for my phone that I can use that support HDR10 Plus. And I either have to upload them directly to YouTube without editing them, or I have to tack them onto the end of each other, which half the time doesn't work on YouTube processing. It ends up destroying the video or not processing properly. Or I have to destroy the color, make it look either all washed out or way overdone. I don't even normally use drawers, but this is not enough animation that I just put away. Not enough at all. Jackets in here. Haven't worn a jacket in a month because it's just way too hot. You love the train video. Which train video? The recent one at the Norfolk Sutherland in Pennsylvania. That's the most recent train video I did. My actual #1 most viewed video of all time is a train video. 17 seconds long, 300,000 views of a via rail train in Cornwall running over a GoPro. I put my GoPro between the train tracks in a safe spot where the train wouldn't hit it. And apparently people like to watch those kind of videos. Like, I was telling somebody online earlier that it seems to me like the more effort you put into a video, the less likely it'll be to be popular. Where the inverse is also true. The random ones you did no effort on, like the fan video I shot where I set my camera up while I was at work, aimed it at a fan, and went back to work. The other video that I did, I was talking about the train video. On a whim, I just walked a half a block. Yeah, the last one. Yeah, that one I really liked that one too. It turned out great. Yeah, so the other train video, I did like a short 5-minute walk and set my camera down. Took a quick video. A 17-second long video. Then I went home, I slowed it down, rewound it, sped it up, and posted it up on YouTube. And that is now not only my most popular video, it's the most viewed video for all time for Cornwall, Ontario. A city of almost 50,000 people. Which is, I don't even know what to think about that. Like, it's typical for Cornwall. Very typical. I'm glad I moved out of there for sure. One of the best decisions I ever made was to quit school and move in with a friend so that we could then eventually move to Ottawa and go other places and do better things. I now have to figure out and go back to school because I still didn't do that. I was planning to do that. For a long time wanted to study electronics engineering, robotics, and radio side of electronics engineering. But I've always been either too busy with work or too busy trying to work. But every time that I've been in school for any length of time, I've had to quit very shortly after in order to go and make money to continue to support myself. Never actually finished high school at home. There's something in the pocket. Because I was actually homeschooled. There was no regular school in my growing up periods. And so, homeschool, it was fun. I'm not going into that. Yeah, no other comment yet. But it means that the Ontario government doesn't think that I did very much school at all, which technically I didn't. So, some prerequisite studying and such is required before I would be eligible to go for the college that I want to study, at least as far as I know. One of these days I'll go down to the college and talk to them again and figure out exactly what I need to do. So I have plenty of time and the ability and everything to do that now, so who knows how long I'll be able to keep that. At least for another year and a half probably, but a year and a half goes fast enough, that's for sure. You were homeschooled too? No way. I guess that's not really that surprising. Chastity's your real name. That's definitely a homeschooler name. But I agree. I do feel like I talked to my parents and my mom about it a lot in the past. They have mistakes were made, you know. I was the oldest, and we did a great deal of moving around and stuff like that because we weren't really. My parents were they were religious and working on. My dad wanted to be a preacher, so it took a fair bit of moving around and doing things like that in order for that to happen. And they didn't believe in sending people to school because in school you learn about evolution and stuff like that. So I had to do that on my own, which I think I did a pretty good job of. But you don't know what you don't know, so like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm good at that. I study a lot of science. Science has always been my big thing. Like, we weren't allowed to go to school, but I was allowed to check out whatever books I wanted from the library. I think my parents are actually a little proud of me for being really into science and stuff, to the point where they didn't bother to consider that it might send me down a different path than the one that they had chosen and designed for us by not letting us go to school or anything like that and doing all the church things. And I also had internet at a fairly young age, my own computer, and I built my own computers. I've built my own computers since way before I had internet, since like the very late 90s. Yeah, that's not the same kind as my parents, but that's a different kind of unique. I've run out of hangers. I have one shirt left that I want to hang up. One shirt left and I need. Oh well. I was talking about science and internet things. Yes. I had a Linux computer that I built myself. Well, that wasn't the first computer. The first computer I built, well, I didn't really build it. I got that one secondhand from my dad, who got it secondhand from his brother. It was a 386 SX, 3.5 megabytes of RAM. It had 2 hard drives in it, 2 hard drives. The C drive with the Windows on it, or the Windows 3.1, was 41 megabytes. And the extra, the D drive, where you store all the stuff and have lots of space, was a whopping 82 megabytes. I think it had either 2 or 3 floppy drives. It definitely had a 5 1/4 and a 3.5. I don't remember if it had a second 5 1/4 or not, but it did not have a CD-ROM drive. The reason I got that computer, oh my god, this needs washed. Oh my goodness, why did I take it out of the bag? It's going back in the bag. The reason that I was given that computer was my dad bought a new computer with a CD-ROM drive and a 25 megahertz processor, amazingly, blazingly fast. It's more than twice the speed almost. When it's a 486, you increase the number of things per clock cycle and stuff like that. So even though it was 25 versus 16, it was still like twice as fast, way faster. And it had a CD-ROM drive. So my dad bought that computer from the thrift store for $125 back in 1990. I'm going to say 1998, or no, it was later than that. It'd be actually around 99, 2000, something like that. And he gave me his old computer with the floppy drives, and 82 megabyte and 41 megabyte hard drives. And that was my beginning of my foray into computers. Yeah, my dad liked the internet and all that stuff. We had internet access. I was able to persuade him to get high-speed internet pretty early on compared to most people. So I think it was 2001 when we got our high-speed DSL. And we only had dial-up for a couple of years. But I networked the dial-up into multiple computers. Wasn't that fun? That wasn't the same computers though. The really old computer that I had wasn't connected to the internet at all. But eventually I started collecting more parts from other places and upgraded to a 25 megahertz computer with 4 or 8 or something megabytes of RAM, I don't remember. There were many computers, old computers during that time. Now what? I got the internet later on and was much savvier at it than my parents were. Started talking to people on chat rooms. Oh, the horror. Horror. This is all clean with no place to put it, so I'm gonna have to wait till I buy some hangers. Oh yes, the horror of internet without supervision. They definitely changed the way that they allowed the other kids to use the internet after I moved out. I actually, when I was 18, I was still living at home. I had a full-time job making a fair bit of money. And I ended up, my dad decided that he couldn't trust me not to go and look up bad things on the internet anymore. Which in his mind, bad things was porn or whatever. So he told me that I wasn't going to be allowed to have internet access in my bedroom anymore. That my bedroom was actually like a built room in the adjacent oh yes, Yahoo chat, yes. Oh, I used that. But my room was built into an adjacent garage that we had in our house. I put my garbage up here. So I had basically complete privacy in there without supervision. Mind you, I was 18 years old, so, and paying rent and working full time at a call center, working for Bell Canada. So what happened was he decided that I couldn't use the internet anymore. I had an Ethernet cable running into the bedroom that it came from another. It came from the house and went through the air for a little ways, and then went into the garage through a small hole in the garage and was wired into the bedroom that I was in. We did this all ourselves. Like it didn't come that way. If you actually look on my channel, I've got a video called "The Newton's House." Long before the renovations, which is from the early 2000s. It's one of my very oldest videos that I have, if not the oldest. So he disconnected the Ethernet cable in the house, and I didn't have internet anymore. Well, they knew about this, but I worked for Bell Canada. I knew their systems inside out, and I had installed a telephone line in my bedroom because I was making enough money, and I was that lazy that I didn't want to have to go inside and figure out what my parents wanted to talk about. And I don't want them to have to be annoyed and bother me by coming out and trying to knock on the door and not hearing them, because it was like 3 doors between me and the outside. And so I had a telephone line installed already and running and everything that I had phone service on. Well, I worked for Bell Canada, like I said, so I called up one of their reseller companies, Tech Savvy, and I told them the telephone line, the cable pair, and exactly which service I wanted, and told them to activate a DSL line card at their end and not to send a technician, that I already had a modem, I already had everything wired up, and it was ready to go, just needed the line card activated. Tech Savvy was like, alright, I can do that. And they activated DSL service on the telephone line. Oh, the computer went to sleep. They activated the DSL service on the telephone line that was in my bedroom. So my dad tried to disconnect me from the internet, but that only lasted for a few days, because I ended up getting the DSL connected and quietly connecting it back to my computer and just not saying anything to anyone about it. YouTube OG. I guess I kind of am. My YouTube channel started in, when did I open it? I think it was March of 2007. I think May 2007. It's been 12 years now. I didn't publish very much earlier on, which I will always regret, because I could have gotten more subscribers way sooner. But such is life. You gotta deal with what happens. I'm gonna rotate this so I can sit down and brush my hair. So I got the DSL activated, and I had internet again in my room. Make sure that this camera angle is working. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I had DSL in my room again. Then a month or two passes. My parents are all gone, and the family's all gone to church. And I had access to the house, of course. I lived there, had a key and everything. All the food was inside. I just had a bedroom in the garage. I didn't have anything else there. Well, I had a mini fridge. I was putting little bits of food in, but so siblings wouldn't see it or get jealous. But yeah, so I went in the house, and I went into my dad's study where his computers and the modem and everything was, and went deep under his desk and crawled under there and realized all he had done was unplug the Ethernet cable end from the router in his way deep under his desk in a mess of wires. And I thought, well, I'm moving in a few months, but before then, I don't think he's going to notice if I replug in this line. So I plugged the Ethernet cable back in, went back out to the garage, and I had this really old Pentium 2 computer with 3 Ethernet cards on it. And I plugged the Ethernet cable from the house into one port. And I plugged the Ethernet cable from my DSL connection that I'd gotten from Tech Savvy into the other port. I plugged my router into the third port and ran this software called PFSense, which allowed me to double the internet speed by connecting the two of them together. That gave me 12 meg internet way out in the country in 2007. Yeah, 2007, because it's the same time that it's like within months of me starting my YouTube channel. So years later, I actually got a guy that messaged me up and asked me if I could replace his Sonic Wall routers for his business clients, which is they'd just been bought out by Dell, and they were super expensive, and nobody wanted to. His customers didn't want to pay the licensing fees that Dell was putting on them, so he wanted to have some kind of a solution to replace them. Well, since I had all this experience from when I was younger, trying to make the two internets work in my garage, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can totally do that. I had done this before. So I ended up actually getting a job from him because of experience that I'd gained building a computer that I screwed to the wall to get double speed internet when I was 18 years old and living at home still. It was fun. It was fun. What should we talk about now? That was a good story. Hopefully it came out clear enough that there was no buffering or anything weirdness like that. Where did my... I'm going to have to make a new bookmark bar. Check to see how the Periscopes is doing. I've got some new followers since I last loaded this page. Let's see here. It appears to be no one there right now. But yes, there's no one on the Periscopes right now. There's often a lot of people there. There's also nobody that came to see. I get a lot of error messages on the Facebook stream complaining that I am broadcasting in too high of a quality, but it looks to me like it's working fine. It says maximum resolution supported is 720p, yet it still works. Awesome! Yeah, the camera is actually my cell phone, and that's connected through Wi-Fi through 2 floors into the basement. And I'm controlling the stream and watching the, reading the comments and watching stuff with a laptop that's plugged into Ethernet. Ethernet runs up through the walls from the basement too. I get a pretty good signal actually. A perfect connection on my laptop, and I actually fixed the Wi-Fi here yesterday. Just changed the channel over from the one that isn't being used over to, or one that was being used to one that isn't being used, because there's actually the setting in the router that most people don't bother with. I believe it's called like DTS or DT, yeah, I think it's DTS setting, because by default routers here in Canada don't broadcast on certain 5 gigahertz bands because they could potentially interfere with Canadian weather satellites. Not the weather satellite, the weather radar. So you enable the setting on the router. The router listens to check and see if there's any weather radar broadcasting nearby. If it detects weather radar, it locks out the channel for 30 minutes and tries again. But if it doesn't detect weather radar, it allows you to just go along like normal and use the channels that nobody else is using, because they don't go into their router and enable the setting and switch to channels manually. So I have basically a perfectly clear frequency band here for my 5G internet. And I'm the only person in the house with a 5G modem on their device. It's not a modem, 5G Wi-Fi card, you know what I mean. So I have pretty much the best Wi-Fi one could ask for right now, without upgrading to an even better Wi-Fi access point or something. The bedroom is cleaned up more. I need a vacuum in here. but I'm not going to vacuum at, what is it now, 4:10 in the morning. I'm not going to vacuum right now. It is very hot. I need my fan. It was definitely nice to chat with you again, Chastity. They didn't believe or didn't believe in the internet. I got my first super chat a couple of days ago. I was streaming on, let me move the camera closer here. Oh, noisy. Try not to noisy. Try not to noisy. Don't bang. Don't hurt people's ears. Don't hurt people's ears. Just clean up the device here. Hopefully that isn't noisy. That is not the correct way to put this up. Do it slowly. That might work like that. That works. Cool. Yeah. Hello, Strawberry Blossom. Good grief. What actually happened is I refused to give her my pliers to allow her to constantly dig in her hand. Wow, my heart rate has like doubled. I have a pair of needle nose, really fine point pliers, and I refused to let her have them one day because she would sit there for hours and hours with my pliers ripping into her fingers and digging holes in them. And I kept asking her to go to see a doctor about it. She actually was doing it since before I met her because she claimed that she had gotten fiberglass in them from cleaning out a paint roller, which I believed. And then I find out paint rollers aren't even made of fiberglass. And then she decided that she had gotten it from the edges of the house while caulking. And then, what else did she say it was caused by? She had so many different theories or ideas of what was wrong with her hands. But would just sit there and dig and dig and dig. It was not fun. So one day I refused to give her my pliers. She threw an absolute shit fit. Scratched up my computer screen, threw all my food in the garbage. What else did she do? I went into my bedroom and barricaded the door. I had to pile things onto it to keep her from trying to break through it. It was not fun. I must still have like a little bit of PTSD from it or something, because thinking about that makes my heart go nuts. But thanks, Chastity. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a lot of live streams that I still have. A lot of videos that I ended up going through and putting them all to private. A good example of her flipping out for no reason was the New Year's Eve live stream. That wasn't fun. New Year's Eve last year was not fun. But that's okay. I don't blame you. How would you know? I don't hate her at all. Like, it's just sad. I feel like I did everything I possibly could to try to help her and failed. No, I did really love her too. Like, we were together for a year, and I hadn't dated anybody in something like 10 years, or 8 years, 10 years since before that, so I wasn't even looking for a girlfriend. No, I'm not transgender. I just like purple hair and bright colors, and I'm definitely a guy. And I like my short shorts. But yeah, I would like, I don't know. There was a lot of situations that just didn't know how to deal with them. Didn't know what to do. Even now, I don't know what I could have done better in a lot of situations. She needed a mental health professional, and I am not that. Thanks, Chastity. I appreciate that. She kept all my stuff, except for a little bit of clothes. Like a $2,000 desktop computer with 6 terabytes worth of RAID 10 hard drives, so like 12 terabytes of actual drives, GPS, blood pressure meters, camera equipment, tripods, all kinds of stuff. It's hard to keep track of all the things. I've got a list, but I don't know. Definitely kept a lot of things. I showed up with the police on 3 separate occasions to her apartment. Let her know ahead of time, and just to pick up my stuff. Like, you call the police and you ask for an officer to keep the peace so that they show up at their leisure when they have a chance and come in and just make sure that you don't have any issues and nobody has a problem, and you can then retrieve all of your things. Well, I did that on 3 separate times, and she just thanks, Gertrude. Yeah, I've just shaved recently, and I apparently have good skin. I appreciate your compliment. So I showed up with the cops, and she refused to open the door. She talked to them through the door once. Other times she pretended not to be there, even though she had just messaged me that she was there, and yeah, it was... After that, I just kind of gave up on it, trying to get in. For weeks and weeks, she messaged me saying that I stole this Elgato HDMI capture device that she had hidden in her room or something somewhere and forgotten where she put it, because she has a problem with like a brain injury that makes her forget stuff easily. So she would, all the time, she would forget where she put her stuff and get convinced that I had taken it and hidden it somewhere. So I would have to stop everything that I was doing and search the house from top to bottom, first starting with all of my areas and then persuading her to let me to look in her stuff too, and eventually then find it in her stuff, at which point I would demand an apology that I wouldn't get. And that happened like, I don't know, once or twice a week at least, sometimes more. I've never experienced anxiety like that time. Like, it was not something that I had ever encountered or ever, like, what did I tell her once? You bring chaos or randomness to an otherwise logical existence. Something like that. No, definitely not. I'm cool. I'm doing much better now. Appreciate you asking, though. It was an interesting time. I learned a lot, I guess I could say. And it'll still take me a while to get over that, but what pisses me off is Google figured out in like 2 days. Like, what did I do? Yeah, I changed my relationship status on Facebook. And now I'm constantly bombarded with dating ads. Ads for this, ads for that, ads for like straight up cam girl sites. I got one today that I can't show because it's not advertiser friendly. I guarantee you it's not advertiser friendly. Yet, it was an ad that I got on Facebook. Or not Facebook, on YouTube itself. I took a screenshot of it. Like, oh, that's the thing with targeted ads and the. No, I don't think anybody deserves that. But even if even if they have problems or if they're a bad person or whatever, I'm not saying that she's a bad person. But yeah, this is very funny. But if you're in a relationship and you have a problem that makes you want to cheat, you should break up with that person first. You shouldn't cheat. Yeah. The ads are nuts. Hey, I actually made. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I made $7 or $7.50 off of Instagram crashing on advertising revenue from YouTube for a video that a lot of people watched without getting any help because Instagram was dying. It wasn't their fault. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Chastity. I definitely agree. That's what made it so sad. I definitely told her that she was being a bad person. Not that she was, but I definitely would get on her for doing things that made me feel like she was, yeah, just like abusive and stuff like that. But like, I never thought that she was a bad person. I still don't think she is, but whatever. It's not for me to judge, I guess. But I'm doing pretty well now. Kind of, definitely feel kind of lost still, uncertain what I'm. I don't know about that. I can't say I agree with that. I'd never seen that video. Was it the crazy hot scale? She actually showed me that video. What was the other one that did that was a huge red flag that I've forgotten about now? Oh, I forget. Yeah, I forget. I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting time. Now I've been focusing more on myself, as they say, doing my YouTubes, making a more of a regular thing of it, going through. I live in a very nice place now, much better area of town, much nicer house. I'm not spending all of my money on stuff for her. Herbs, if you know what that means. Herbs for her, yeah. It was something like, I'd say like $400 a month that I was spending on that. And then it varied. Like, I think between the two of us, we were spending about $400 or $500 a month on stuff for her. But that was to the point where when I say she threw out all my food, it wasn't very difficult for her to throw out all of my food, because it was a bag of rice, a bag of lentils, and a bag of flour, and some baking soda. As far as I can remember, that was about it. I was definitely not eating enough, not because just I didn't have food. Now I've got the opposite problem. I've got more than enough food, and I have to pace myself and not eat too much, because a year's worth of not having enough food to eat and constantly wishing you had better food makes it so that when you do get food, you just like devour it at top speed, which isn't good for you at all. So now when I have money and I buy food, I have to pace myself and not eat too much at once. Oh. Such is life. I guess that's a good thing. Definitely is a good thing. But I'm starting to feel tired enough now that I might be able to sleep. We got stuff I want to do tomorrow that I can't really talk about. I'll talk about that in a few months or more. We'll see how it goes. Nothing bad. Just stuff, you know how it is. But thank you so much for watching, Chastity, and everyone else. And the last I saw, she was still living there and looking for a roommate or something. Like, I don't want to speculate too much on where she's getting money and how that's happening. It's not really my concern anymore. But I know she was trying to sell some of my stuff that she wouldn't give back to me. But I don't think anybody bought it, because it wasn't like it was actually worth anything. Well, not from a resale value. Most of the stuff, at least. The birds are awake. I'm ready to go to sleep. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Chastity for being here and coming to hang out. And I think I'm gonna go to sleep now and end this stream and be done with things for tonight. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching this afterwards, thank you very much. I'll be sure to see you all again very soon. Anyways, yes, I will. Thank you. I will keep my head up. After sleeping outside for a few nights and finding a new place that's really nice, things are going better. Things are going better for sure. Anyway, I'll talk to you again soon. This isn't a phone call, but I'm starting to make it sound like it is. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks so much. Love you all. Okay. I gotta turn this off now.